can you introduce your name, your pronouns, where you're from, and anything else that you want to say about yourself?
Well, my name is Duchess. I'm from Long Island, New York. I identify as she, her. I go to St. John's. I do theater here on campus, and I am a pharmacy major.
Hi, my name is Emily. My pronouns are she, her. I'm from Connecticut. I moved to the city in 2016, and I'm a senior at St. John's University.
Hi, my name is Sabyne Santiago. I am 21 years old. My pronouns are she, they, and I am from New York City, New York.
Hi, my name is Duong. My pronouns are she, her. I'm 21 years old. I'm a Virgo, and I love fashion and music.
A typical day in the city for me is honestly kind of boring, pretty routine. And so it's just a lot of like didactic like schoolwork. But like because this program is so demanding, like a lot of the free time that I'll have, I'll like do things with friends, like I'll be super involved on campus, just kind of fill in the gaps and just kind of help my days go by a little bit more interesting.
A typical day for me is work in the morning and then class after work, and that kind of goes until the night. I get back to my house around 10 p.m.
If I'm going to the city just to work, then it'll take me about an hour commute to go in, and then I'll work, and then an hour commute to go home. So typical day in the city is pretty simple. If I'm going out, I'll probably look for an activity like going to a museum, exhibition, some sort of show, maybe a movie, theater, and then afterwards is always immediately almost followed with food. Drinks, now that I'm 21, it's nice.
A typical day in the city for me probably is going to consist of a coffee from a local cafe. There's one on my block, or maybe I'm gonna cheat and go to Starbucks and have something expensive and sweet. And then I'm either going thrifting, and general shopping. I'm going to see a movie, or I'm going to a museum.
So I travel to the city by myself probably 85% of the time. That's probably a stat that my parents don't want to hear, but it's the reality of it. I need to get to work, I need to get back from work. I have to walk home from my classes. Yeah, it's just a way of life. It's best when you look like you belong to the place. So people say it's dangerous to walk with your headphones on, but I usually do walk with my headphones on because it makes me look like I belong in the area, and I'm staying alert with my headphones on.
Bus-wise, like I make my way around the city of Queens a lot, often like by myself, and going home to Long Island, like that's 2 buses and an Uber, so that's all we need at any like weird hours of the night.
So yeah, I'm traveling alone usually a lot. Every day when I go into work, I am traveling alone. So that is about 11, 12 stops on the train. If I'm going to one of my jobs, I usually take one train and then transit to another train. So I'm always traveling alone, but it's usually pretty okay. I do always walk with my guard up, but I mean, I feel like that would be me in any situation, in any place, just as a woman in general. I don't think New York City is as much of an exception as any other big city. Even my hometown, I still feel like that. I don't mind getting stares because of how I dress or how I'm walking. I guess if I get approached with some sort of comment, then I can get a little upset, but it's just so normalized. But as a collective for women in general to stand up with each other.
I'm more aware of my surroundings when I'm wearing clothing that's super tight, short, usually it's a skirt because I'm going to work or I'm going to a networking event, but at those moments I am more aware of my surroundings and who's looking at me.
But like at night, that's even more pertinent because it's like I won't stop the music, but I will turn it down to the lowest, and like I have to be aware of my surroundings, especially where I'm from. For instance, the other day when I was going home, I was even telling myself, this is probably not the safest thing. Like next time I should probably like take the stop and one further down so I can be in like this mall center. But like the closest stop to my house theoretically is like right in front of this church, but it's like at this church at like 8 p.m. And I wasn't smart, and I don't know why I did that, but I did, and it wasn't smart, but I did it. And I called the Uber and I got in, there was no problem, but like, just things like that. Like, I always have to be constantly weird because of the fact that I walk around with headphones, and like, gender isn't even like the first thing. It's just like, this is not safe.
In terms of my safety in New York City, I think there's a lot more work to be done. I think as a whole, as a unit in the city, we need to have each other's backs more. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been like, you know, harassed in the train and like have been looking around for help and nobody has said a word. I have never in my life like experienced something like so alone and like, you know, scary. You're in a train full of people and you're being obviously harassed and catcalled and things of that nature, and nobody is there to help you. So I think that as a whole we need to do better in protecting our women. But yeah, I think as long as we all come together and stick together, that we can make some really amazing changes and we can make a much more beautiful city to live in and feel more comfortable.
There was a time that Selena and I were walking through Brooklyn, and it was just like a very, not strange part of Brooklyn, but just ungentrified part of Brooklyn. And some guys were like whistling at us and saying some things. And so we tried to hold hands to make it seem like we were dating each other. But that obviously didn't work. And then there was another time I was walking through by Astor Place, and some guy approached me and said, I was watching you walk by, and you were just so beautiful that I felt like if I had missed this opportunity to talk to you, I'd regret it for the rest of my life. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And then I walked away.
When I play basketball, there's a basketball court across the street from me, and I like to shoot around over there. And it's a very heavily testosterone-dominated court. There's anywhere from middle schoolers playing there to 70-year-old men. And when I find some people to play with, everybody is so nice, but they always underestimate me. And one of me and my friends' pet peeves is when the guys, they don't go hard on you because they think you're bad. Like, one of my best guy friends, he's like, Emily, I respect you too much not to spike that ball away from you. And yeah, I appreciate that.
In terms of it going to my favor, I feel like I don't usually utilize my gender in that way, but if it does help me get into a place per se, I mean, why not, right? Being a girl, being a woman is definitely got its qualms to it, but by putting yourself out there like that, you tend to attract something you don't want, or maybe some people want it, but I know I don't want it. So I try not to do that kind of thing, I guess.
A time when my gender worked in my favor was when I was lost in the city. It was freshman year. I didn't know how to take a taxi, how to take an Uber. My phone died, so I went into an AT&T, and there was a bunch of males that were happy to help a young, innocent female charge her phone, and they were really kind to me and really helped me find my friends.
So we were on the subway and we were coming back from brunch. We had gone to karaoke afterwards. We were exhausted. And there was a guy like across from us who, first off, did not smell the freshest. Like, honestly, like I was on my phone, but like I was like looking, like making sure like knew like what was going on with him, because he was just kind of sketchy. Then what got really uncomfortable was he got up. There was this, like an empty seat next to my friend Shay. She was gone, like knocked out on top of Sam, who was knocked out on top of me. It just got to the point where he was looking at her really weird, and it was very uncomfortable for me. But I like kind of like sat up and was like, hey guys, you know we have like two stops. And the second I got up, he pretended to fall asleep. And I did. And so then I looked away, but he was making this like hip gyrations towards Shay, and she was still asleep. And I was like, okay, no, fuck this, like I can't do this anymore. And so I was like, okay guys, like, you know, we have a stop, like, let's get ready, like, just like pretending like, oh, I'm waking them up, whatever. And then I moved both of them and like made sure they were standing and away from him, and then he like lounged on the entire whatever and did whatever. But that was the most recent experience.
Women's Day, I don't know.
Honestly, yeah, I've never really thought about like Women's Day, like a day to like celebrate, just because there's so many other issues that are more glaring in my life. Like racism is a big thing, just in my day to day. Sexism, yeah, is up there. It's definitely on the totem pole of like shit I have to deal with, but like it's not so glaring where it's like I couldn't get this because I was a woman. Like it's more like it's like, oh no, I probably wasn't gonna get this because I was black. It's not like the sexism thing, but it's still up there, and I'm glad that there's a day for it. Loki didn't know this day, so I'm glad.
To me, Women's Day means equality, and it means equality across the entire spectrum of what it means to be a woman. Being a woman is not just having, you know, an XX gene, or I have to think about that, an XX gene, you know, like you are much more than that. Just because you have a vagina does not mean you're a woman. Just because you have breasts does not mean you're a woman. It doesn't negate or add to that. You know, being a woman is about, you know, what we go through and your experience, and it is a thing that you can decide, you know. It's equality for trans women. It is equality for people who don't know yet, you know. It is coming together to make sure that we got each other's backs and we are working towards something greater, because we are not where we need to be yet.
I like spreading positivity. If I see like a really pretty girl passing or on the train and I see something about her that I like her earrings or her shoes or her jacket or dress, I'll always say I love it. And I don't care to get a response. If I do, that's great, but then I'll just like go on with my day, and it just makes me feel better. In a city that's so big and always moving, really bustling, it's nice to just slow down and share the kindness.
Yeah. But like final closing remarks on like Women's Day, I think it's really great. Like I love women empowerment. I love seeing women in like for instance, one of my other D&T professors, she's also a woman, but she's a black woman, and she's the only black pharmacist, in the faculty. And so like whether you like her or not as a professor, I love her because she's just so real, so herself, so unapologetically like a black woman. And it's just really nice to see like my profession, like in pharmacy, like for her to teach me and like not just teach me but be the head of that entire block. Like it's really nice to see, you know.
Cool part about Women's Day is that it's a chance to build each other up and not tear each other down.
I feel like every year that I am a woman, which has so far been every year of my life, the last 21 years, I have learned more and more about the impact and the way that women kind of run the world, as far as being a mother, being creators, being nurturing, caring, emotional supports that they are, and are usually expected to be, but just kind of exude anyways. It's about celebrating all those beautiful things that women do every day to help run the world and make it like a great place.
Thanks for filming me.
Thank you for letting us film you.
All right.
Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.